This is the second tracking mystery, and today it's just about identifying this creature. We're going to see its tracks as we follow them through the woods, moving in a number of different gait patterns, and we'll just see if we can figure it out. Here's where I picked up this path, this trail, and there's a little Mora knife for size comparison. I'm going to put down my hand too, so you can kind of get the feeling of that Mora knife, which will be our size comparison from here on out. And right now, we're just seeing the movement of this animal. I'll say right away that this is an unusual gait pattern for the animal that we're tracking. Here it is again. And once more, that clue is that this is an unusual gait pattern for this animal. Now we're going to get a clue. Right at that log. And balancing on a log is going to rule out a fair amount of animals. So now we're up on that log, and there's our measurement again. And here we can see, even though these tracks are worn, we can start to see a little bit more detail of who we might be chasing. So here's something special. I'm gonna put my finger by it and see if I can zoom up a little bit. And I think you saw one just pop, sort of teleport into the frame. And there you got to see it hop. And these are all over the snow. This is a pretty low density of them. But these are what are called snow fleas. And they're not fleas, they're actually a springtail. Here's a better density of these snow fleas. My theory, you often see them collected in tracks like this. My theory is that they fall in there, and my hypothesis is that they fall in there, they get sort of trapped, and then maybe they call to their friends, "Help me out," and then they all get stuck. We see these little guys in the winter because they're on the snow. But the truth is that this density of springtail, it's here all year round. So in the summer, they're all over by our feet on the forest floor. We just usually don't see them because they blend in so well. Here it is again, this time walking over a narrow log. And you can a little bit see some of the detail of some of the tracks. And it went straight across. And crossed through here and went up to the left. Here's that wood nettle that makes really, really good cordage. Maybe you've seen that earlier video. Hopefully this is going to show up in this lighting. But we're seeing a nice bounding gait. Looking at it. So now we're seeing the agility of this animal. It comes across this log. Over that mound of snow. Bounces across there. And right down here. And here we're seeing a really proper bound. This is more of the normal gait pattern that we usually see. Here it is, bounding over the edge. Ravens overhead. Down the hill it goes. Perfect, perfect bounding. Okay, here's one decent track. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and then not very well registering 5. Another decent track. You might be able to see 5 toes in there, and you can start to see part of the heel pad. Sort of has a half moon shape. Here's some amazing, amazing marks in this tree. It's a size comparison. This is the work of a woodpecker, but you can tell that it's a pileated woodpecker because of that long rectangular shape. And just the size and the power of these impacts. That's quite a beak that does that. We're also seeing some of the habits of this creature. It's really moving around. Doesn't sit still. Now we've been tracking it up the whole valley, and we're seeing a lot of movement. Just bounding, bounding, balancing all over the place. And it's warm enough today for some unusual winter visitors in the woods. And here we're able to see these are marks emerging up out of the front of the track. If you haven't figured out what we've been tracking, I'm going to reveal it to you. This is a mustelid. It's in the weasel family. It's called a fisher. A fisher is one of the most agile of all the mustelids. Mustelids are, we know them as skunks with their chemical defense, badgers that are terrestrial and live most of their lives underground, all the way to otters that are almost completely aquatic. And so an amazing family of animals, and the fisher is a really fun one to track because it loves trees, it goes up and over, never really, very seldom goes in a straight line. It's always wandering, looking, exploring. Very, very fun to try to stay on its path. There's one gait pattern that this particular fisher did not leave for us. So I've tried to recreate it here in the snow with my fingers. Not the best, it's not the real thing, but it will show you another really common gait pattern for these animals, and it's distinctive enough that from a distance, if it's the right size and it's this gait pattern, you often can identify it as a fisher. Here it is. You can see track and then 2 that are together and then 1. And out there is another set of them. Let me know if you knew what this animal was that we were tracking before I revealed it, and also leave any experiences you've had with fishers down in the comments. If you find one of these trails, it's a really fun one to follow. Love to hear any of your stories. Thank you very much for watching. Happy tracking.